Chapter 153 to 155. Gohan. Everyone yelled in panic upon seeing that Vegeta was about to attack Gohan from behind, a Gohan totally devoid of any defense or precaution. And between those screams of panic there were two voices that stood out above the others. Boom! Vegeta's energy attack impacted, creating a smokescreen that conveniently concealed the result of that dramatic moment with the sole purpose of creating expectation in the viewer and lengthening the chapter a little bit. And when that smokescreen dissipated little by little the result became evident. And that result was... Gohan. Are you okay? Piccolo said, which managed to arrive on time with great difficulty to stand between Gohan and Vegeta and block that attack, sacrificing his arm in the process to save his student and collaterally Yam too. And at the same time and in an almost synchronized way a voice very familiar to everyone said with joy and some concern, Gohan. Are you okay? And that voice was from... Dad. Gohan shouted with joy as he hugged his father's leg, who came to his side at the same time as Piccolo with the same intention. Although it wasn't necessary, since his adoptive father arrived earlier to help him, one more time. Goku. They all shouted with joy when they saw that their friend and disciple was again among the living ones. This is Kakarot. It can't be, this power. Said Vegeta, who was surprised by the triumphant entrance of the other traitor's scion, at the same time as he measured his power with the tracker. My other not-too-young Padawan, Broly said when he saw the person he beat up in an educational day after day for a year on the planet of his old friend North Kai Wei appeared. And seeing that warm welcome from his loved ones, who miraculously were still alive, relaxed and without apparent injuries, except Piccolo, Goku said with great joy, "Hello guys. I'm glad to see that all of you are okay." And after reciprocating the reception of his children and friends, Goku seriously while grateful turned to Broly and practically asked rhetorically, "I guess I have to thank you. Right Broly-san?" And Broly with his usual humility replied humorously, "Hehe. The doubt offends. I see that you have also had the pleasure of meeting him." Goku, Piccolo said, that with one eye kept looking at Vegeta to make sure he didn't do something else that threatened his student and with the other he observed his sworn rival, possible hope in this conflict and competitor for Gon's parental custody. "I'm afraid so. He is monstrously strong and somewhat abusive. But he's not a bad guy," Goku said, who was glad to see that Piccolo was more talkative, surely because he had also suffered at the hands of Broly, thus creating a strange feeling of camaraderie between the two former enemies. "Eesh. What are you implying, Piccolo?" Broly asked, showing that he was offended by something he said. "Ha ha ha ha." Comment that made everyone laugh, even Broly. And after that warm gathering of friends and some funny gags, the reconciliation talks began. Conversations between which was the meeting of Gohan and Goku, where Goku was impressed and pleased at how strong Gohan had become and Gohan was greatly pleased to see his almost always absent father. Goku's with Krillin and the others, who were curious to know how strong the strongest man on the planet had become. And especially the incredible reaction of Goku upon seeing the unrecognizable and young mutant Rashi. Everything was being happiness and joy. Except for two people. One was Yam, who was still affected by the decision she had made and the consequences of her actions, not fully knowing if this decision had been taken by herself or by Gohan's ability. And the other one of course was Vegeta. A Vegeta who felt completely defeated in all facets. They had reminded him of the greatest humiliation of his childhood, when the ghost made him lose to inferior beings and stained his family's name. He discovered that this ghost was still alive and that from the moment of his birth he was already stronger than him, and that he was surely what he had always wanted to be. The legendary Super Saiyan. The most powerful warrior in the entire universe, something that was above an elite warrior or royalty. Something far above him. He had been completely easily defeated, as if he were a fly devoid of wings and legs under the sole of a shoe. They had made him see his subordinates perish in the hands of inferior beings, breaking his ideology of Saiyan superiority. They had made him kill his subjects. He had done it because he wanted to, but he blamed Broly for this. Even his ward, an average Saiyan boy the son of a trashy traitor, he had destroyed in the most terrifying way the woman he respected and with whom he might consider having offspring. They had prevented her from killing Yam as she wanted him to do, they had lobotomized her to disobey him and couldn't fulfill his dream of immortality, and they had even prevented him from taking revenge for it. And now the traitorous lower-class warrior whom he underestimated and despised had returned with a battle power possibly similar to his own. And to top it off, none of them treated him seriously or with fear, as if he were nothing but a joke. His pride had been damaged to a level that even he couldn't estimate, and once again Vegeta exploded, one after another. Fucking scum. I am not going to allow you to continue getting in the way of the great. Bomb. Shut up. We are trying to have an emotional reconciliation. Fucking half-bald dwarf. If it wasn't because I wanted to teach my student not to be distracted, you wouldn't even have had time to gather your ki for that attack, said Broly, who sneakily hit Vegeta again with his tail stand. As if Vegeta was a misbehaving dog and his master Broly punished him for his disrespectful behavior, hitting him in the nose with a rolled magazine. Damn. Damn. Damn me. Vegeta thought and screamed once more as he rose from the ground again, physically and mentally injured. And after everyone could be fascinated with Broly's rudeness and more specifically with his tail and his intriguing abilities. They started to move again. "Hey Piccolo, how are you?" Goku asked with much confidence and familiarity to Piccolo as he approached him. "You took a long time, idiot." Piccolo yelled in his usual mood as he held his wounded arm. "Sorry for taking so long. Kaiosama didn't calculate the time it would take me to arrive here and Broly was washing the dishes. I stopped to pick up some things that Cammy and Karen gave me, and I don't know why it seemed that at some point I was going around in circles despite flying in a straight line. But luckily I was able to be on time," Goku said, explaining his odyssey and the reasons for its duration. "Broly, is there something you have to explain to us?" Krillin asked with great suspicion, fearing and rightly that this delay was directly related to Broly. "Me? Why? What do you mean?" "FIU, Broly said, whistling and pretending not to have manipulated space and time so that Goku wouldn't arrive earlier. And while many continued to look at Broly, who was beginning to have some difficulty keeping his poker face. "Hey Piccolo, have a senzu bean. If you eat one of them, your arm will heal instantly," Goku said, offering one of the famous beans that can heal everything. "Save your stupid kindness for another." "I don't need it, go with your son, he has wanted to see you for a long time. Don't bother me." "Ah," Piccolo said as he tore off his arm and regenerated it to everyone's chagrin. "Dad, do you have many of those magical beans? Could you give me one?" Gohan asked, who didn't separate from Goku since he arrived to make up for lost time. "Yes, don't worry, there are quite a few. Here, although you aren't very hurt," Goku said, handing him one without giving much importance. "Don't worry, they aren't for me," Gohan said, picking up the senzu bean and walking away from his father. "I did well to warn Korin of the senzu bean properties. Thanks to that I avoided that Yajirobe didn't eat almost all. And with that things will become even easier now," Broly thought as he thought about the catastrophic consequences that Yajirobe caused. And as Gohan tried to offer the precious senzu bean to Yam, she was still absorbed in her world of doubt and despair as she clung to the jar where her sister was trapped, the one that Broly had given her. Goku was still taking the protagonism of his manga. "I see, a very well done scenario, although a little strange." "Well, I guess it doesn't matter, it will work," Goku said while admiring the ring in which he would possibly fight. "Yes, you talked to me for months about the tournaments you participated in. And I recognize that because of that I wanted to organize 1-inch," Broly said, explaining one of the motivations and inspirations for this event. "And, when do I have to fight? The keys I felt before are incredible, something I've never felt before. My blood boils for fighting." Goku asked with his usual childhood obsession to fight strong people. And when he saw the great enthusiasm of Goku, Broly smiled and then erased that smile from his face to show some regret. "Well, the only one left to fight is that insect. But I'm afraid it's Chaos' turn to fight. Unless he wants to give you the turn to you." And almost instinctively Chaos replied, "I let Goku fight. Don't worry about me." "Are you sure? I saw you very motivated in the training sessions. You said you really wanted to fight." "Lie," Broly said semi-comically to annoy Troll Chaos a bit more, since his face that changed from despair to hope were too funny for him. "Is it true, Chaos-san?" "Ag. It's a pity. I really wanted to fight," Goku said, who started to get depressed about losing this opportunity, but he couldn't complain too much, he had come too late. It wouldn't be fair if he took that pleasure away from a friend of his who wanted so badly to fight. Not. "Please fight," Chazo shouted, kneeling and pleading with tears to Broly and Goku at the same time. And after Broly finished his joke and indicated to Goku that he could fight. "Thanks Chaos, I owe you one," Goku said, thanking Chaos for his sacrifice as he prepared to warm up. "Goodness. I thought I would die disintegrated, with nothing left of my body," Chaos thought with great relief as he took refuge behind Ten's back to make sure they didn't mess with him again. "Well guys, you have 5 minutes or less to warm up, have a snack, talk to family and friends, look at each other with hatred and resentment, whatever you want. One of the cameras has kindly asked me to give him time to change the camera lens, said Broly, who wanted this last fight of the event he organized to be well broadcast to the whole world. Goku sighed. 1, 2, 1, 2. Goku continued to heat up in an exaggerated way, until Krillin and Gohan approached him. Goku, how are you? Do you think you can beat him? Krillin asked with concern, but not too much. He was convinced that Goku, who had been training in the other world with a kind of god and with Broly, could stand up to that monster, and in case he couldn't beat him, Broly was with them. He simply could resurrect him in the same way he did with Yamcha and the other Saiyans. There was no real risk in this fight. And obviously Goku answered, doing a serious analysis of the situation this time. You can only expect seriousness from Goku in some fights. I think I have a chance. Why do you say that? I notice a great strength inside him. He's somewhat stronger than mine. I'm sure of that. He is monstrously strong. However, before arriving I noticed two Ki more powerful than him. One of them was yours, right, Gohan? Was the other one from that girl? They were impressive. And Gohan, very excited and flattered, quickly answered to his father's doubts, it was mine and the girls. That guy hasn't fought yet, but he's the strongest of all. Everyone is afraid of him. He is a very bad guy. He has even killed all his companions one after another when they have lost against us. And shocked and confused by Gohan's statements, Goku asked again, really? I don't feel so much power in her or in you. And I don't think you're hiding it. How is that possible? Maybe. It is due to a transformation, Gohan said to explain the momentary increase and decrease in power that both him and Yam had in the previous battle. Ha shit, Rashi, Yamcha, Ten, Chaos and Krillin thought when they saw that the secret that everyone had been keeping for decades from Goku could be revealed now. The secret that Goku had been the cause of his grandfather's death by transforming into a giant monkey. Transformation? Goku asked once again in a hurry, not understanding what his son meant. Gohan gave him the information he needed in small doses. No, he can't know this, thought the altered Krillin as he approached Gohan from behind urgently. And Gohan, without realizing the reactions of Krillin and the others, continued trying to reveal the secret that everyone had tried to keep from Goku. Yes, Dad, the tail. But he was quickly silenced by Krillin, who covered his mouth and as he took Gohan away from the scene and said to Goku in a very agitated way, Esh. It's nothing, Goku, just focus on beating him as fast as possible. Don't give him time to do anything suspicious and everyone will be fine. Come on, Gohan, let's let your father focus. Mom? Okay. See you later. Goku said that despite all this seems very strange and did not give more importance to this strange fact, and returned to fully concentrate on his warm-up. That has been close, the Guardians of the Secret thought, relieved to see that they had avoided the crisis, for now. What are these idiots doing? Piccolo wondered, unaware that the transformation into Oozuru was a state secret. Vegeta sighed. Vegeta kept licking the wounds. It's a metaphor, trying to manage all his frustration while looking at Broly, Gohan and Goku with bloodlust. That damn bastard Broly, one day he will pay me. I will make him pay for all this humiliation 100 times. After killing Frieza and taking control of the universe, I plan to dedicate all my energy to destroying you. You and that brat too. I will destroy this filthy planet and all its inhabitants. Vegeta thought as he looked with hatred at the man responsible for all his hardships since he landed on this star. And then he cast his gaze at Yam, who was still on her knees on the ground holding the jug where her sister Ginger was contained while Piccolo watched over her. Yam, I don't know if you've done all this because of that brat's ability or if you've really betrayed me. But it doesn't matter anymore, you can't fight anymore. You are no longer useful to me, like everyone else. Do what you want, you and your sister. Consider this my first and only act of kindness. And finally he looked at the newcomer Goku with hatred and contempt. Kakaroto. Our arrival on this planet is because of you, everything that has happened is because of you. It is because of your miserable and pathetic existence. So I will finish it. I will kill you in the most brutal way possible in front of your son and friends, and I will show you and others the difference between them and me. It doesn't matter if they resuscitate you later or that abomination doesn't let me escape from this planet. No one will stop me from releasing all the anger I have in me. And after that one day I will take revenge on the others too. All of you will die. And you will be the first to be crushed like an insect, Kakaroto. In the ring. The 5-minute break was over and Goku and Vegeta ascended the ring to end the Broly tournament. You are Kakarot, right? You are more stupid than your brother. It seems that one of your family traditions is to resurrect and then be killed by me. Anyway. You should be grateful for that, Vegeta said, flaunting his usual arrogance, even when the circumstances weren't at all advantageous to him. I have no idea what you're talking about. But how can you be so convinced that you're going to kill me? From what I hear, you have lost all your fights. Yam's victory doesn't count. What makes you think it won't happen again? Goku replied, demonstrating with his attitude and reasoning that Vegeta's arrogance had no place in this combat. Don't compare me to those useless. And don't you dare compare me to you. Broly is an incomprehensible mutant abomination that fooled us all since he was a baby, and your son is another mutant who has been fortunate that the faulty genes of the inhabitants of this planet are compatible with ours. But you are a low-class soldier and I a super elite. A scion has his warrior qualities examined immediately after birth. The trash that scores low at the time, such as yourself, are sent to planets with no significant opponents. In short, you're but a leftover dunce. Vegeta once again said to reaffirm his beliefs, excuse his previous defeats and intimidate his enemy. And thanks to that, I came to this earth. I gotta thank ya. Besides, maybe even a dunce can surpass an elite if he trains hard enough, Goku replied with determination and pride. The pride as a earthling and martial artist who had improved training after training and combat after combat to become who he is now. That's a good one. It is true that you have improved a little since you were exiled, an insignificant effort. Let me show you the wall which cannot be surpassed with hard work alone. Vegeta said, gleaming his arrogance once as he began to take up his battle stance. However, he was interrupted. Take this, it will heal your wounds and you will recover energy so that you can fight in perfect condition, Goku said, throwing a senzu bean to Vegeta. Then Vegeta looked at Senzu Ben with some doubts and replied arrogantly for the umpteenth time, you are frankly stupid. The fact that that monster had hurt me is your only advantage against me. Do you want to die so badly? Of course no. I just don't want you to put your wounds as an excuse when this dunce kicks your super elite butt. Vegeta, Goku answered with confidence and sarcasm, showing once again the incredible qualities of this character. Qualities that made him indisputably the protagonist of this manga and the most famous Japanese manga character in history. And with this provocation, Vegeta looked stunned at Goku. And after a few seconds in which he was enraged by that insult, he grimaced with contempt, arrogance, and madness, until he finally swallowed the senzu bean, completely restoring his strength, hehe. Good. And this time in a ring, surrounded by the strongest warriors on the planet, in a live broadcast in all the world with the direction of Broly, who materialized popcorn to enjoy this event. The most famous rivalry relationship of all manga and anime in history would begin once again. Goku and Vegeta were still staring at each other while maintaining their battle stance. Both trying to measure the strength and combat style of the opponent. Both were waiting for the ideal moment to start the attack. The atmosphere had become so heavy that could be cut with a knife. Hardly anyone could breathe because of that. Everyone who contemplated that scene was completely motionless, not daring to blink to avoid missing a single detail or making the slightest noise that could somehow condition the beginning of the battle. Nyam, Nyam. Shoo. Everyone except Broly, who continued to eat popcorn at a fast and impatient pace, as does all anxious filmmaker who has finished half a pack of popcorn and soda before the trailers. And capriciously the fate wanted that on one of the occasions when Broly put his hand in the pack to bring more popcorns to his mouth, one of them fell from his huge hand. Thus creating an inevitable fall to the ground, which seemed to be happening in slow motion. The popcorn turned and fell without anyone noticing or trying to prevent it until Plas. And that insignificant sound, created from coincidence, maybe, gave the signal to start the combat. Ahi-eh-hitch. Tata-tata-tata-tata. Goku yelled as he advanced and attacked Vegeta with repeated punches and relentless kicks. Punches and kicks that Vegeta managed to dodge and block, but not with the ease that he originally expected. And every second Goku increased the speed and power of his blows. Typical of Goku, start the combat by testing your opponent and increase his power and speed a little to increase the fun. Although I don't understand why he screams so much, he is indicating with that to the enemy when he is going to attack. Broly said, commenting on the live combat, at the same time pointing out script errors. Good. I wouldn't know how to explain it to you, said Mutant Rashi, who thought that Broly was somewhat right. And while the public spoke, the combat continued. Tata-tata-tata. Goku kept yelling while hitting Vegeta. A Vegeta who left his defensive position and started attacking to pick up the rhythm of the combat. Plash. Ah. Goku complained as he received a sudden blow in the face from Vegeta. But he didn't have any more time to complain about that since Vegeta had gone from receiving to giving and Goku quickly adopted a defensive attitude this time. What's the matter, Kakaroto? Is this all you got? Is this the most that an untalented insect like you can hope for? Show me. Vegeta said arrogantly, as always, as he continued to hit Goku, who struggled to dodge and block the punches. And after that scream, Vegeta was going to give Goku a powerful hit with both hands to the head. But at that time, Goku disappeared from Vegeta's sight. Hey! Where is he? Vegeta thought as he looked from side to side trying to find Goku, making it impossible for him since he had no means to detect Ki and Goku had successfully camouflaged his presence. Flash! And furtively Goku appeared behind Vegeta, hitting him in the face with great strength, making him fly several meters. But fortunately for Vegeta, who thanks to his great fighting instinct understood that he very possibly wouldn't be able to avoid the next attack, gathered energy on his hand from before for the counterattack. Eat this. Kakarot. Fiam. In this way, while Vegeta was moving away from Goku due to the power of his impact, Vegeta threw an energy beam at him from his hand. Damn! Goku shouted, which didn't expect such a powerful counterattack. Ahia! Goku shouted, concentrating much of his ki in his hands to block the energy sphere that was a few centimeters in front of him. After a few moments of struggle, Goku managed to catch that sphere made of energy, as if it were a soccer ball shot kicked with a bestial power, and as if he were a professional goalkeeper, he masterfully deflected its trajectory to one side to avoid damaging his hands. And without Goku barely having time to catch his breath. Ah! Vegeta, who had managed to distract Goku with this energy attack, took the opportunity to place himself in front of him to return the punch that moments before Goku gave him. Flash! Wow! Goku yelled as he was propelled to the ground in the same way Vegeta did before. However, before he crashed he managed to stabilize himself in mid-flight and stand on the head of one of the Broly statues while staring at Vegeta, who also stood on the head of one of the Broly statues, staring at Goku too. Vegeta wiped the blood from his nose with a swipe of his finger with a bitter smile. And in the same way Goku also wiped the blood from his nose, although his smile only showed excitement and confidence. Nothing bad. I guess I have to congratulate you. You were able to hurt me. This ability, all you have to detect the battle power of others without using trackers and masking your energy, is very useful. Especially to ambush and create distractions on people who don't know them. This skills, Vegeta said in his arrogant and supremacist speech, in which he insinuated that Goku had only been able to rival only thanks by means other than true combat ability. Means that if he knew, he would have even used better than Goku to kick his ass. At least from Vegeta's point of view it is like that. Oh. You make it sound like we haven't fought on a level playing field and all my success is due to cheating tricks. Is that your excuse? Goku said in a mocking way, hinting at Vegeta that he wasn't buying his speech. Actually, Goku's raw power right now is slightly weaker than Vegeta's. Frankly, I don't understand why. Well, I know why. I know everything, it's only a way of thinking. Logic says that he should have had hundreds of Zenkais that would elevate him to the limit of his body. But these fucking Zenkais don't have logic. Goku went from having a combat power of 9,000 in the Saiyan Saga to 90,000 in the Frieza Saga, and after being injured by Jinyu and recovering magically and conveniently he had 3 million. Zenkai in the protagonists are due to the power of the script and not to scientific logic. Anyway, better not force everything, in this way it will be entertaining, Broly thought angrily as he remembered the multiple attempts in which he tried to increase Goku's raw power through beatings, but he couldn't achieve it by normal means, as if fate itself prevented Goku's power from multiplying in millions. Is it not so? All your advantage is summed up in the first blow you gave me after making your presence disappear, to nothing else. But don't expect me to fall for the same trick twice. What's more, I may learn how to use it before I kill you. Without a doubt, this is the greatest honor that an insect like you can achieve. You should be grateful for it. Vegeta said, pointing to Goku, showing an arrogance never seen before in this chapter. And there were opinions from the public about Vegeta's statements. Of course, this is a fucking anime, there are always opinions and observations of secondary characters. Does that sadistic egomaniac never stop bragging? How can he say that after all that has happened to him until now? Krillin said, disgusted as well as impressed by Vegeta's ability to self-idolize in the most adverse and ambiguous situations. That is precisely why he does that, Krillin. He has suffered so much humiliation so far that his only way to gain some self-esteem is to brag when he thinks he can, said Yamcha, who spoke from personal experience. Well, he has his point in saying that Goku's advantage has been due to that sneak attack. But that means nothing. Goku was just testing him. Now the real fight begins, Broly said as he tried to prevent Gohan and Mutant Rashi from picking up some of his popcorn, until he materialized some for them due to the political pressure. And unexpectedly Yam, who had shown no signs of movement or reaction until now, squeezed the bottle containing her sister to her chest, and said while she was in a great dilemma because of what she thought before, she thinks now and believed that she should think and say. He is not like the others. Only birth monsters like Broly and Frieza have the ability to beat him. But if he is given more time, Vegeta could. But quickly Broly made a certain correction while continuing to eat from his infinite pot of popcorn. Nah, no matter how much time and help is given, it is impossible for him to surpass me. I'm the fucking master. And please don't put me on the level of Frieza, or that of anyone else. It's insulting. Yes, I forgot that the most self-centered and arrogant being of all is on our side. 90% of the Z Warriors team thought at the same time while they stared at Broly. And then Piccolo, who had chosen himself as the watchman of Yam, said surprised, offended, and bragging, "Are you still defending this guy? I'm sorry, but I have to give you bad news. I am also on that list, and Goku will not lose. If he has to die, will be in my hands, one more time." Words that annoyed some of the Z Warriors by verifying that Piccolo could still be the great villain they remembered and not the responsible and trustworthy babysitter he had become. But Gohan, the person who should have been most offended by those words, simply ignored them, as if it were a bad joke of which he was already immunized with, of course. My dad is the strongest. He can't lose. Ahem. Who did you say is the strongest? Broly protested once again when he heard that they spread fake news that affected him. Broly-sensei. You don't count in this consideration, Gohan said sharply, as if he was explaining something of common sense that everyone should know. Hey. Why? Asked Broly, who for the first time a few minutes ago had stopped eating popcorn due to the emotional shock. Let's say that your whole existence is a real cheat. It is as if you were on a different plane than the rest. So you don't directly count. You are something with which we cannot compare, empathize with. And it's really frustrating, Piccolo clarified, that by the way he expressed himself and looked at Gohan in an accomplice way, Broly understood that this had been a topic that had been debated among them when he wasn't looking. And some less than others, Yamcha said sarcastically to show the great discontent and adversity he felt from the guy who left him bald and knee-to-redded. Ha 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 ha. Everyone laughed despite the cruelty of the context. That offends and flatters me equally. But I'll take that as a compliment, Broly said after considering that assessment as a valid argument. And while the public spoke, the fighters also did it. Goku returned to his usual combat position, while looking at Vegeta with a hostile smile, and said with moderate arrogance and humility in equal parts, "Well, I have to admit that you are very strong, the strongest I have fought with so far." Ahem. Broly protested once more. And yes, maybe you are stronger than me in that terms. However, that small handicap is nothing compared to my greatest strength, Goku said enigmatically once again after ignoring like everyone else Broly's protest. HMF. And which one is it? Vegeta asked, looking at Goku as if he were a boastful jester bluffing. And Goku, regardless of the mocking attitude in which Vegeta answered his question, answered with pride and confidence, "I have had better teachers than you." And with that statement he filled his teachers with pride, who could see the combat and reacted to that statement. Whether in the other world. Goku, cheer up, trust my teachings, and only my teachings, and you will win, Kaiosama said with great joy from his new car free of bombs and with guarantee. Whether it's near the end stratosphere. Goku-san, Mr. Popo said with tears falling like waterfalls from his eyes upon see this emotional moment while remembering how he trained him when he was still a child. Goku, you are without a doubt the best student that I could have wished to have, Kami said while trying to forget that Broly, who despite being infinitely stronger and of the same race as Goku, was a bastard unworthy to succeed him, was also trained by him. Ahem. Broly protested once more in the far, far distance. A little further down. Kick his ass, Goku. Meow. Korin said as if he was an adorable feline hooligan who had been kindled by the great epicism and sentimentality of that moment. Even on that same battlefield. Goku. I know that your grandfather Gohan would also be proud and happy to hear that, said the young mutant Rashi full of pride and melancholy due to the by his student's speech as he remembered his other student Gohan, the first person who could be considered the teacher of Goku. Of course, damn it. "You have had the best teacher in history," said Broly, who considered himself a teacher of Goku after having been beating him for almost a year, and that for some reason he believed himself to be the best of all he had ever had or would have. Without giving Vegeta time to scoff about his supposed useless confidence, Goku began to gather ki throughout his body. In a few moments his entire body was covered by a threatening red aura. Kaioken X2. Pum. And the next instant, after Goku released that red aura, the next thing Vegeta felt was a huge impact on his chest. An impact so powerful and forceful that his hard and flexible combat armor fractured, letting all the impact pass through his body, causing him to pump blood uncontrollably. Bwaj. Vegeta was unable to react or think about what had happened, but instinctively he understood that Goku had come towards him with amazing speed and had hit him with overwhelming power. Power far superior to his own. And Goku, taking advantage of that successful initial blow, continued punishing Vegeta, who hadn't been able to adopt a defensive posture, with a series of consecutive blows, and ended the sequence with a pound from top to bottom, sending Vegeta to fly against one of the surrounding rocks, burying him in a large pile of rubble. Bomb! And among the pile of rubble Vegeta writhed in pain. What was that just now? Both his speed and power rapidly grew in an instant. Vegeta thought, who was greatly puzzled and hurt. Physically and proudly wounded. Goku wasn't weaker than him. Not at all. He had proved to be far above him. A lower-class insect like him is superior to me? Unacceptable. Vegeta thought with great hatred, resentment and frustration as he tried to recover and thinking of a strategy to defeat his new nemesis. And obviously that incredible blast of power and speed made the audience overreact. And obviously they had to ask questions and comment, "This is a fucking anime. How did Goku do that?" Ten and Yamcha asked when they saw such an increase in power, something they both longed to obtain. Was it a technique that Kaiosama person taught to him? Mutant Rashi asked, who became quite interested in what seemed to be a very useful technique that another Senii had taught his favorite student. And obviously someone had to clarify their doubts. This is a fucking anime. Yeah, it's Kaioken. It controls all ki in your body and momentarily amplifies it. If you do it right, your power, speed, offense, defense, all of it will be multiplied. A technique that was very useful to me in childhood, Broly said, explaining the incredible technique that would cease to be relevant from this saga onwards. Wow! That technique is amazing. Chaos said, describing what was evident. It's more than incredible. Until a few moments ago they were both tied, but with that Kaioken Goku he is twice as strong. He just destroyed him, Krillin said, very excited by the incredible advantage that his best friend had obtained and the beating that despicable being had received. This battle is won, Gohan said, very enthusiastically seconding Krillin. However, unlike most, Piccolo kept his mind cool, analyzed the situation and asked Broly a little more about this magnificent technique. No, not entirely. Broly, he's still able to increase his strength several times past that. And Yamcha, without giving Broly time to respond, said to Piccolo, exposing his logical approach with many fissures, "Piccolo, don't talk nonsense. If Goku could do that he would have done it from the beginning." And after that comment with hardly any value, Broly replied to Piccolo. Yeah, he can exceed that limit. But, such a powerful technique doesn't come without cost. If you don't suppress and control his ki right, then he'll screw himself over. His body can be destroyed. He can only increase his power x3 in a safe way, x4 in a normal way, x5 in a dangerous way, x6 in a kamikaze way, or x7 in a suicide way. And while the Z warriors tried to digest that information, the least expected one expressed the final conclusion of this chapter. "I see, so the fight is not over yet," said Yam, who was looking in the direction of where Vegeta had landed forcibly. "Shit," Piccolo said, while like Yam looked in Vegeta's direction. "Hey! What do you mean?" asked the least intelligent viewers as the rubble in which Vegeta was buried slowly crumbled. After the many confrontations of this improvised tournament with many absurd non-canonical combats, finally, the most awaited official combat of this saga arrived. The combat between Goku and Vegeta. And unlike in the original universe where Gaki was up to 3 times weaker than Vegeta in his normal state, in this version, thanks to the intervention of our MC Broly-sama, Goku was able to increase his base power to almost tie with Vegeta. For that reason now when Goku used his Kaioken he could easily send Vegeta flying against the Rocky Mountains with great ease. Using the Kaioken X2 he had become twice as strong as him. And Vegeta didn't expect this impressive increase in power at all. Crack. Crack. Flash. Crack. Several seconds after Vegeta was buried under the rubble of the mountain that he destroyed with his fall. The debris was beginning to move. And under the watchful eye of everyone, literally, they were waiting for Vegeta's imminent exit from those rocks. Which seemed to never come. What happened, Super Elite? Can't you continue anymore? Goku asked from the skies, speaking to Vegeta arrogantly through the rubble to provoke him and make him go out. Crack. Crack. Blast. Bomb. And with those provocative words Vegeta emerged from the rubble in the most violent way he could. Be bastard. He screamed at the same time that he accelerated towards Goku, taking advantage of the explosion, which distracted everyone. Gua. Vegeta managed to get in front of Gaki and without wasting a second he threw a right punch straight to his face. Pam. Flash. Right punch that was caught by Goku's right hand, the same hand that now held Vegeta's fist. Holding it so tightly that he was unable to move it. And seeing his right fist caught and unable to back off, Vegeta quickly tried to hit him this time with his left fist. Palm. Palash. But it was useless. That other fist was also caught in the same way by Goku's left hand. And with both hands caught, a struggle began. Ah. I. Oujj. Uj. Ijj. A struggle in which Goku was squeezing Vegeta's fists tightly, as he struggled to get away from him and contain the pain. He is strong, more than I imagined. Yam said upon seeing Vegeta in such a disadvantageous position. She couldn't believe that in such an unexpected way Goku became so strong. I told you, my father isn't going to lose, Gohan said as he looked at Goku as if he were the greatest hero of all. But at the same time he also observed the expression of Piccolo, who didn't seem so excited about the advantage he currently had. And that made him doubt his father's victory for a second. And Vegeta, who was doing everything he could to bear all the pain he felt in his immobile hands, tried to come up with something to stop Goku. Shit, I can't continue like this. Ah. And while he had that thought in mind, Vegeta from his mouth released a ki beam. Ouch. Ki beam which Goku could barely dodge due to the surprise factor and the short distance they were from each other. Flash. But that moment was the only thing Vegeta needed to get out of Goku's iron grip, exerting more strength on the arm where Goku loosened his grip. And when he managed to free his left hand, Vegeta used it to free his right hand and then prepared to give Goku a blow to his head. But... Ahia. Goku activated the Kaioken X2 again. And with great speed and from a disadvantageous position, without Vegeta being able to react. Palm. Guaj. Vegeta was hit in the belly by someone with twice his power at the exact moment when he focused most of his energy on the attack. A critical hit that made Vegeta spit blood and be stunned for a moment. Ahia. Pum. Ahia. Pam. Ahioia. Pum. Moment in which Goku without dispelling his Kaioken began to beat Vegeta relentlessly, giving him a brutal beating. A beating in which Vegeta didn't even have time to scream in pain when he was hit, kicked, crushed, thrown, strangled, and even bitten. It was as if he had become a baby trapped inside a 30-meter wave in which he didn't even have control of his body while drowning. A dying baby who wished with hardly any oxygen in his brain, that this situation would end as soon as possible. HAA. Palm. Oeka. Until Goku felt the first side effects of Kaioken X2 on his mortal body, a different body than the one he had when he trained this ability. And impulsively he sent Vegeta to fly towards the horizon once again, creating a path of destruction with his own body. Ta, 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 ta. Bomb. Crash. And once again. Vegeta on the ground tried to get up. Ah. Ow. Clash. Ack. Ah. But this time he suddenly fell back to the ground, since the wounds that Goku caused him, made him unable to control his body correctly and writhed in pain. He. Kakaroto exceeds by far my battle power. This is absurd. How can the difference be so huge? Vegeta thought as he tried to get up again, this time more successfully than before. And Goku, who rested without pressure after the first slight discomfort of the Kaioken to try to stay in his best physical condition all the time, said upon see Vegeta, get up, you are pretty taut. Can you continue? It would be a shame to be resurrected for this day just to warm up a bit. Very hurtful words considering who they were addressed in those circumstances. This time Goku isn't only attacking his body, also the spirit of that arrogant idiot with more arrogance. I taught him very well, said Broly, who decided to comment on the fight, as if he were an annoying and talkative spectator in a movie theater, while he was excited to see that he had managed to influence one of the characters that had most influenced his life. Let's all hope that he hasn't taught him many other things, most of those who heard that comment thought. Words that hurt Vegeta as much or more than the beating he previously received. I will not stand for this. I am a super elite. There's no way such a low-class warrior can beat me. I am the greats in the universe. Vegeta yelled with an inhuman anger. So angry, resentful, and outraged that he practically forgot about the humiliation and torture that Broly inflicted on him from his childhood until today. He felt so humiliated that he came to regard Goku as the #1 public enemy of his life. No. You're a funking clown. You're not even in the Jinyu Force. Stop pretending you don't know. Face reality. You're not even the top 5 in the organization where you act like some kind of slave. Braggart! Shouted Broly once again as if he were an enthusiastic child in an interactive show of heroes versus villains, and that like all children he yelled even insulted the villain. For real. Is he not that strong? I don't know whether to rejoice or worry, Krillin said upon hearing Broly's hooliganism, and because of this he couldn't help but fearfully think that they might have to face more terrible people in the future. And Yam upon hearing Broly insulting analysis shuddered a little. Everyone on the team knew that they were just pawns within Frisia's army. Pawns who were in the middle category of their army and who only stood out for their ability to survive and transform into Oozuru. They knew it, even though they didn't want to admit it. So they buried that humiliating reality deep in their minds, disguising that inferiority complex with a superiority complex. But the fact that someone will remind them of that truth hurt. And Vegeta, regardless of the criticism directed at him, kept licking his wounds and looking at Goku with hatred until he realized that his sight had reddened. And at the moment of rubbing his eyes and realizing the origin of his tinted vision, his anger reached critical mass and abandoned all kinds of rationality. Blood. This trash made me shed my blue blood. He'll pay. Definitely. You'll definitely pay for this. I'll wipe the likes of this planet of existence. I'll take pleasure in blowing your earth into bits and pieces, the insane Vegeta screamed as he released a large amount of energy throughout his body and ascended vertically into the sky. What? Everyone screamed upon hearing Vegeta's wild statement that literally put everyone in danger. This guy is an idiot. If he destroys the world he will also die. Normal Scions cannot survive in space. By the way, I'm not a normal Scion, you will all die except me, Broly said, who continued to criticize the fight with complete calm while the rest of the world panicked. Dodge this if you think you can. Even if you manage to save yourself, Earth will still be in shambles. Vegeta yelled as he charged his garlic cannon to full power. Damn, this guy is terrible. We have to do something. Everyone shouted once more for obvious reasons. Come down, don't worry. Goku can deal with this easily. Furthermore, you all have forgotten, but especially that suicidal idiot, that I'm still here. I am not going to allow someone to destroy my residential planet, where my girlfriend, my friends, one of my houses, and where I have bought land to build housing, speculate and make myself richer, are, Broly said, showing that he cared about his loved ones and that he had plans for the future. And just like Broly said, Goku, despite being disgusted by Vegeta's intentions, didn't shrink in the least in the face of his threat. Therefore, like his enemy, he also began to gather energy throughout his body to counter his attack. Kaioken X3. Kamehameha. Garlic Cannon. Bomb. The two energy techniques collided and with it began the classic clash between attacks. Clash between attacks that had a clear winner from the beginning this time. What? How can this be possible? It is much stronger than before. It's forcing me back. Vegeta yelled before being hit by the Kamehameha, who had lost some power due to the energetic confrontation. Being dragged into the sky by the same energy attack that had hit and trapped him. And after a few seconds after everyone lost Vegeta from sight, the public erupted in praise and joy. He did it. Krillin screamed with great joy as he saw his best friend beat the biggest psycho of the moment. I knew he could beat him. But I didn't expect it to be so easy, Mutant said as if he was an old man. He was, but he didn't look it. I couldn't expect less of him, Ten Shinhan said, seeing how his former rival, who he defeated in a tournament year ago, once again defeated the powerful villain of the moment that he couldn't currently defeat. I couldn't have done better, Yamcha said as everyone glared at him upon hearing that stupidity. Father! Gohan shouted, who took the initiative to fly to where his victorious father was to hug him and go home. However, something stopped him. It was as if an invisible hand prevented him from moving forward. And he quickly knew who that invisible hand belonged to. Broly-sensei, why did you stop me? Gohan asked, who turned to his sensei as he was being forced to his side. Gohan, I think you will need extra classes. You and all of you. Are you not able to see around you, or is it that the euphoria has blinded you? Broly said as he looked up at the sky and pointed to Goku and Piccolo. All of them looking up at the sky, waiting for something to happen. As if the fight isn't over yet. Several meters above that place, Vegeta was still being dragged by Goku's Kamehameha, which disintegrates or drags you depending on the situation. Seriously, no fucking logic. It's like the explosions or electric shocks of 100,000 volts in the anime. They kill you or not depending on the context. Until at a certain point he managed to regain control of his body and move laterally and thereby completely move away from the attack of his new rival. I repeat myself once again, this doesn't have a logical bitch if we compare with other previous and future Kamehamehas. And after having freed himself from the attack that would send him into space or directly kill him, that's what should have happened. Vegeta expressed his joy, obviously it's irony. Fucking shit. Why? Why the hell is Kakarotto's battle power greater than mine? One thing that abomination called Broly and another that garbage that was discarded shortly after birth. That little dipshit. Vegeta yelled his frustration at the heavens in an insane way. And after completely unburdening himself, Vegeta thought constructively again, trying to find a way to defeat his hated new greatest enemy, get the wish that Broly had promised him, escape from that planet, get stronger, and kill Frieza and then kill Goku, his friends, and finally Broly. In that order. I didn't want to use this trump card. Especially to fight against Kakarot, but it seems that I have no other alternative. I'll transform into a great ape and crush him. I would rather transform by natural means, but I don't think those two bastards would let me wait until nightfall or go around the world to see the moon. It'll reduce my battle power somewhat, but it seems I have no other choice, Vegeta said while speaking alone and descended once more to the battlefield. On the battlefield, standard height. Goku kept looking up at the sky, waiting for Vegeta to come down. He knew that his enemy had no escape because he was forcibly involved in a game created by Broly. And for some reason he believed that Vegeta wouldn't try to destroy the planet with the inside, as he tried before, since it made no sense. And for some reason also difficult to understand, Goku didn't take advantage of this waiting time to gather energy with the Genki Dama and use it later when Vegeta arrived. So after a few seconds, just as he expected, Vegeta landed. You finally came down here. Does that mean you have a way to increase your power? The same skill that your partner used before to fight my son? Goku said when he saw his enemy appear, from which he expected more than he had shown so far. Goku before reaching this battlefield was able to feel the battle that Gohan had against Yam and how the ki of both Gohan and Yam increased dramatically in the same way that he can increase his ki with the Kaioken. So Goku was waiting for Vegeta to use that same ability to fight him. He wanted to have the great combat he had been training for. A match where he could fight someone incredibly powerful without holding back or worrying about anything, someone he could beat. Broly doesn't count. This time, unlike in the original manga, he wasn't exhausted and injured after using the Kaioken repeatedly, so he could attack him without problems and end the fight as soon as possible in the event that any unforeseen event happened that could endanger someone. However, this time, unlike in the original manga, he didn't have the great responsibility of ensuring the survival of Earth in this combat since Gohan and Piccolo power-up were there, who could fight against Vegeta and defeat him in the event that he could lose. Not to mention Broly, whose power seemed immeasurable and was obviously on his side. With all this, Goku only had something in mind. Have fun fighting. Of course, unlike a disgrace like you who decided to rip off his tail, surely because of your lack of control of your transformation. I can transform myself in perfect condition, said Vegeta, who tried to find a way to feel superior to Goku again. Transformation? What are you talking about? Goku replied, who didn't understand all that verbiage. Oh shit. Goku. Don't let him do anything he wants. Finish him already, Krillin and company shouted when they heard the word transformation and Goku was in front to witness it. And Piccolo, upon hearing the annoying cries of the crowd, shut up. What happened? Now is when you realize that he also has a tail and can transform like the girl over there and tremendously increase his power. Although I don't think that is. But before he could finish his sentence, Mutant Rashi interrupted him. Piccolo, I understand what you mean, but the main problem with that isn't his increase in power. And while Mutant Rashi left his sentence half-finished, Vegeta had already explained to Goku the astronomical technical procedures behind the transformation in Ozaru and the Power Ball, of which Goku understood absolutely nothing. Vegeta condensed the Power Ball into his hand and started again to show his excess pride to everyone for the umpteenth time. The hour of your demis is finally here. The low-class warrior shouldn't have challenged the super elite to a fight, after all. What are you planning? Asked Goku, who seemed to not understand that Vegeta was about to transform despite what Vegeta said in the previous speech. And while Goku was trying to analyze the situation, Vegeta threw the Power Ball to the sky and shouted, "Burst and Max," at the same time that his expensive non-lethal energy sphere exploded, thus creating a large light explosion that momentarily blinded Goku and the others momentarily. What the hell is this? Goku screamed upon seeing the artificial moon that had suddenly appeared in the sky. Shit! Shouted the coalition that for years they managed to keep a very important secret of Goku. Seriously. Gohan never saw the full moon. How absurd. And that now that secret would be revealed in the worst possible way. You should regret losing your tail, Kakaroto. Vegeta yelled, as he looked at the moon and began to notice how it began to grow. His teeth lengthened, his voice became more deep and hair began to grow all over his body. And spoiler. It wasn't due to puberty. If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later, bye bye.